Kubernetes med Conoa.
Nej men god dag allihopa. Denna Black Friday 2025. Hoppas inte alla har gjort av med alla pengar ännu. Det kommer säkert nya deals framåt kvällen, det brukar jag göra. Idag har vi en extern gästhållare med oss. Innan vi släpper loss Arshad och introducerar honom så påminner vi bara om de vanliga husreglerna. Att vi spelar in det här. Vi kör frågor i chatten och plockar in dem när det passar så att vi får med dem på inspelningen också, på videoinspelningen som vi postar på YouTube. Så med det så välkommen Arshad från SUSE som idag ska dyka ner och visa oss lite grann kring multiklustermanagering med hjälp av Rancher. Välkommen Arshad.
Tack så mycket. För mig, Arshad heter jag, jobbar som en solution architect hos SUSE sedan ett år. Så är skönt att presentera SUSE Rancher multikluster miljö. Så jag tar presentation och demo på engelska. Hoppas det är bra för alla. Okej, är det okej att jag delar min skärm och vi börjar?
Kör igång Arshad, scenen är din.
Tack. Bra, so yes. Okay, so today we will be demoing the Rancher multi-cluster management. So few numbers about Rancher. Maybe some of you know already or don't know. Couple of slides and then we jump into the hands-on. So Rancher in numbers today. Rancher is a Kubernetes orchestrator container management platform. The penetration of the tool is very, very high, 100+ million downloads. It's completely open source. Anybody can download it and use it. You can see year-over-year growth, 35,000 active downloads per month. That's quite a lot. You can see 24,000 plus stars on GitHub. So this way you can see the adaptability and engagement of the open source community on the tool itself. And also Rancher as a lead contributor to the CNCF projects. Maybe you've heard of it, Longhorn, Cloud Native Storage, K3S, lightweight Kubernetes distribution, and also, KubeWarden, a policy engine. We will be looking at KubeWarden today, how to apply policies in a multi-cluster environment. Of course, the solution is used by the enterprise environment as well as by many other organizations as well. If we move on further, unified cluster management, that's the big value of the Rancher solution as well. Can manage all Kubernetes cluster from a single pane of glass. This means that you don't have to move between the tools. You have one tool, you log in, and you are managing the clusters, Kubernetes cluster, wherever they are deployed. Are they deployed at the edge location, in your local data centers, scattered anywhere in the world? Simplified Kubernetes operation, easy to learn, very low learning curve, user-friendly tool. This means that you are able to have your developers, platform engineers to learn this tool faster and start to produce. Also, the Rancher has the universal Kubernetes support. What's mean by that is that any Kubernetes cluster, as long as it is CNCF certified, can be managed by Rancher. So this means that the Rancher is a very interoperable system out there. So there is no lock-in. And also Rancher comes with a two Kubernetes distribution, RK2 and the K3S. RK2 is for the data center use case, K3S lightweight Kubernetes distribution for edge and IoT use cases. Tools, Rancher is completely open source, no hidden restriction dependencies. This means that you're completely, there's no vendor lock-in, you can say. Moving on to further, start from down. Rancher it's a very platform agnostic. This means that you can deploy it in different environments. And also it has the node drivers. This means that you can also integrate different environment HCI solution with the Rancher itself. We will look at it when we are doing the demo. So there is there are no very high restrictions how you deploy the rancher and how do you use the rancher. It can do the Kubernetes lifecycle management of the Kubernetes. As I said, there are two Kubernetes distributions are included, RK2 and K3S, and any, of course, other CNCF certified can be managed, and also other Kubernetes hosting services from the hyperscalers, Amazon EKS, Azure AKS, and GK. They can also be managed via the rancher. So today in our demo, we will look at how you can manage the EKS from the rancher itself. Moving on further, it comes with the very extensive multi-cluster Kubernetes management tools, app catalog, observability, role-based access control, monitoring, base container images. So GitOps way of provisioning the apps. So all these tools that you get that you needed in your Kubernetes enterprise environment. And on top, how you interact with the rancher itself. You can interact via web GUI, sleek web GUI interface, easy to use via CLI, CRDs, cluster API, or Terraform if you need automation as well. So this is on the rancher community, which is completely free to download and be used. So once you go into the Prime version, which is the subscription version, it becomes like you are getting the software code of the rancher from the trusted registry. This means that the code is well tested, comes with the software bill of material, secure registry, etc. Comes with application collection. This means that you can get the base container images and other packages that you use in your Kubernetes environment. You can get from application collection. These packages are built on our own base container images or free of CVEs. Observability tool that you get as well, UI extension, which allows you to have a better experience while using. Also enterprise features like FIPS 140-2, SALSA certification, SBOOM, and of course the long-term support, uh, as well as the access to the professional services. So that's the difference between the Rancher community and the Prime version, which is the subscription version of that. Moving on further, so what's the demo of today? So today what I'll be showing is that we'll log into the Rancher UI and we will do the provisioning of Amazon EKS cluster. I will be showing also the RBAC. So you can see that a user which is assigned to a specific cluster, he is maybe a developer, he's only confined to that cluster and he can deploy apps without disturbing or changing anything on the other clusters. We'll also be using the Fleet GitOps application provisioning. Fleet is the GitOps way of provisioning the apps. So that's included in the Rancher. And also we will use the fleet-based governance as well to apply some policies. So when the idea here is that when the Kubernetes operator is creating the cluster for the developers, so he is able to atomize it to harden the cluster and apply policies, etc. So without further ado, let's go to the demo itself. So I hope you are able to see my screen of the Rancher GUI. Kai, are you seeing it well?
Yes, we see it well.
Very good. Okay, so let's log into that Rancher. Here we are logged into the Rancher, where you can see that I have few Kubernetes clusters. So for today's demo, I have two clusters. One is the demo cluster, which is running Rancher's RK2 Kubernetes distribution, and the other one is the Amazon EKS. So these are the two Kubernetes distributions which are already set it up already. But let's go into the process of how do you actually set up, how do you provision the EKS from the Rancher itself. So let's start with, here is the press the create button. And here, this is very interesting. Here you can see that what Rancher can do. It can create cluster in a hosted Kubernetes provider. These are the providers which are supported today. You can also provision new nodes and create a cluster using RK2K3S on these infrastructures. If you have a bare metal server, you can also provision the RK2 and K3s. So it's a wealth of options. You can see how you can integrate and manage different infrastructure in Kubernetes. So before we further do, because it takes really 5 to 10 minutes to provision a full cluster, so let's do it already now. So we let it run and then we go through the other things in the demo. So let's select our region, which is EU North. I have already created the credentials, uh, access keys, security keys, and etc. And here you can see that I want to have a two worker nodes. We leave most of the things as default. We scroll further down. Here we can see the Kubernetes version. What version do we want to have? Let's take the latest one. Uh, and then further on down, we have other options, like if we want to have users, which we want them to access the cluster, we can assign some labels to be able to do some automation. So let's name this cluster test EKS-2. And then we just create the cluster. So it will take, as I said, will take 5 to 10 minutes. So we let it run. In the meantime, we can come back and check it, how things are going. Okay, so coming back to the Rancher integrations with the infrastructures and management of Kubernetes, here you can see we support, these are the cluster drivers. These are the different clusters that can be managed. And also there are node drivers. This is more about infrastructure, HCI platform. Here you can see on down you have VMware vSphere if you are using, or your Nutanix you are using, so IBM Cloud. So it's possible to integrate, and you can more automated way provision the cluster. It will create the virtual machines and provision the cluster. Okay, if we go back to our GUI, so we are letting our cluster to provision. We have our Amazon console already here running, so we can see if things have started to happen. So you can see test EKS2, it's already started to creating, it's ongoing. If you remember, we set 1.33 Kubernetes version. So it's creating that. It should be finished soon. The idea here is that it's fully automated. You log in, so you basically don't log into the as a developer or platform engineer often into the Amazon console. Okay, so we already have one EKS cluster, which is this one, demo EKS. And then we have a demo cluster, which is RK2 running Sosa's HCI platform. So let's first start with demo cluster. So this is RK2. You can see here it's a 3-node cluster. It's running high availability. Scroll down, you can see the monitoring, uh, metrics, etc. And you can also see that different nodes. Let's refresh the page. And you can also see if there are any workloads. You can see I have deployed already 2 pods, but we will look at how we deploy the application using Fleet. This is interesting. You can see the charts. So these are the different charts which are available, help charts, which are available in the Rancher catalog. So which you can basically deploy on the Kubernetes cluster itself. This is some of the charts. One of the chart you can see here is the application collection. This is actually application collection is the SUSE's application collection where you have the images, marketplace for images, the applications that you use in your Kubernetes environment and that are built by us. So if you can take 20 seconds to look at that. So this is the application collection. So these are the different images where you can find here. These are the images which you usually use in your Kubernetes environment together with your application. So let's take one of the image and quickly see it. It's NGNX. You can see it's 1.29 branch, 0 vulnerabilities. we are using our own base container image 15.7. We are scanning it with Trevi. Of course, we drink our own champagne, so we are scanning it with new vector, and we provide SBOOM and SPDX as and also the salsa provenance as well if you are more into the regulatory compliance environment. Also not only regulatory but also about that you are mitigating the attacks from supply chain security. So let's go back here. So this means that you are able to deploy any Helm charts, and then you can see there's some monitoring charts which I've already provisioned. You can go and see on the RK2 the performance, and there are different dashboards you can go and check, and this is very extensive information that comes already inside Rancher. The Helm charts you deploy and you see it. Moving further, we also have a new vector. If you have heard of it, this is the uh, uh, runtime security that you can deploy on the cluster and that you are able to manage it. And so that's also provisioned. You can see different ports, etc., different nodes, and I'm able to run the scan, and I'm able to run the scan on different containers. So the reason of what I'm showing you is that this is what you see when you are looking at the RK2 cluster. So now we go back to our EKS cluster, and this is exactly the same. So this means that it's a consistent GUI. So it's easy to learn, easy to manage, and you can see the tools that you are using. They're all the same. So you don't actually have to adopt to different Kubernetes distributions. So that's the big value here, so that you can see and deploy. So you can see also the new vector here, which I have already pre-provisioned. Please allow me to through my screen so I can see it maybe better a little bit here. Yeah. So now you can see the new vector, which I've already provisioned, and also the application collection charts. And it's very easy to basically take any chart and just run and deploy it. So this is the operation that we are doing on our EKS cluster. So you can see it's a similar, consistent way to interact with different clusters. So that is, now you can see it's deploying the Helm chart of the monitoring. It will continue to deploy. It will take maybe 1 to 2 minutes, and then we should be able to see different monitoring graphs of the EKS cluster. Okay, so this was one, is that you can see the similarity in the GUI. And now we can go back and also check what we can do with others. So let's say we have a tool called Fleet when you want to deploy an application. So deploying an application with the Fleet is that you can you can define different criteria, and you can basically deploy applications using a GitOps having a single source of truth. So let's say I have a app, a manifest and a GitHub. It's a simple application which will basically say hello from Kubernetes, and what I would like to show you here, how easily it is to deploy on a multi-cluster environment. So if we, let's say, take this and go here, and then we select the cluster. We can individually select the cluster if we want. I have actually labeled them. So let's say demo true. And there you see it's recognizing that there are 2 clusters with this label. And then I can basically save and apply, and now this application will be applied on the EKS cluster as well as on the RK2 cluster. So that's how easy it is. You are able to manage the multi-cluster environment. So the app is deployed. We can go back to our RK2 cluster and we can see that here is the app is deployed. Nothing fancy. Hello from Kubernetes. Let's go to our EKS cluster and see if the app is deployed. Go there, and then we can see it's deployed. So this is also a power of Rancher. You can see how you can deploy apps using multi-cluster environment. Let's deprovision this application, and then I can show you how you can apply different policies, security policies. So this way you are able to get the full benefit of the multi-cluster environment, especially if you are an operator of the Kubernetes environment. So what I have done is that I have created actually on a GitHub on a policy in a YAML file. So where I am allowing some of the registries. So let's launch my screen. So I am rejecting the Docker IO. So I only want my developers to use, let's say, a more private registry. So this is, we will provision it and we will try to deploy on the both of the cluster, and we can see that we are able to apply these policies using kubewarden. So let's go with this. And then similarly, we select the assign the label. And it will basically assign the policies to both of the clusters. So let's go back and check if things have started to happen. So you can see it's provisioning the trusted repos, and there's a policy server which is already active. Now I go back to my EKS cluster. I can go and to the kubewarden and I can check what's happening there. You can see it's provisioning that. So now we can actually test how if we are able to deploy any images from Docker Hub. So here it's provisioned. So let's say that I have a workload. I have this workload nginx, which is actually coming from Docker Hub. And I have another nginx, which is coming from the application collection from here. So let's see if we are able to redeploy them. You see, so the policy is not allowing it to actually deploy the image from Docker Hub, and it went well with the nginx, which I'm deploying from the application collection, which are the hardened images. So this was similarly, you could also see that in the EKS cluster, and you could do that here as well. So similarly, you can deploy policies across different clusters. So this is one of the power of the multi-cluster environment, so that you can also do that. So 5-6 minutes are left. Do we have any question?
Yeah, so we got one question in regards to multi-cluster deployment with GitOps in Rancher. Can you show or say something about that?
Yeah, so in the GitOps, we already did this demo. We have this fleet, which is the GitOps way to deploy the application. And so here we have created those bundles. So let's say what I was showing here is that this is the policy which is in the GitHub, and I am able to deploy that. So let's say I remove this Docker Hub as a rejected repository. I commit the change. The change is committed, and now we should see that it will redeploy this automatically on both of the clusters. So via Fleet that's built in Rancher, we are able to do the GitOps way of provisioning. Any more question?
No, not at this point.
Not at this point.
So last chance, people, put in your questions. No more questions at the moment. So Arshad, if you're looking at some of the clients that you have, is it becoming more increasingly common to use multi-cluster deployment with Rancher?
Yes, and that's actually the bigger value of the Rancher itself. Is that the multi-cluster is the major use case and the major motivator of a customer to manage the clusters at a hyperscaler as well as at their local data center. So we definitely see that. And this is
anything that you think clients should consider, especially when looking at multi-cluster? What's the biggest issue or problem that you usually run into?
No vendor lock-in. This is of course, and also that open source solution, so you get the full innovation as well as the better interoperability with different node drivers and also the cluster providers. So that's of course some of the values that they see in Rancher, which is the strength of the Rancher, I would say.
Okay, good. I don't see any more questions. Kai, did I miss something? I don't think so.
No, I don't think so.
We have 3 minutes left.
Exactly. So I will switch over to Swedish. Nästa vecka så kör vi ett nytt avsnitt och då gästas vi faktiskt av Sysdig. Så ska vi ha en liten genomgång kring cloud native säkerhet. Det blir intressant samtal mellan Kenneth och Crystal och Patrik, tror jag.
Så blir det nog.
Yes.
Har vi planerat något julstök i år?
Det kan bli ett julstök. Det vet vi först när det händer.
Ja, vi får väl se. Då så tackar vi Arshad och tackar alla som var med idag och hoppas att ni kan hålla er något sån här lugna nu resten av Black Week-dagen här. Det brukar bli en dyr dag, för mig i alla fall. Ha en bra helg allihopa, så hörs vi nästa vecka.
Hej då.
Snacka Kubernetes med Conoa.